Ladies and gentlemen, your 2010 Austinite of the Year, Lance Armstrong. Go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. That was a pretty cool video. Barry, I don't know what is more difficult, dealing with 7 boards or winning the Tour de France 7 times. Well, maybe winning the Tour de France is more difficult. Thank you to the Chamber, to all its members, to everybody here. Thank you for being here. To everybody from the foundation, the board that's here, my old friends that have been with me for many, many years. Thank you for the support. You know, I was not born in Austin, Texas. I was born in Dallas. But I got here as soon as I could. Okay? And I say that, and I get to tell people that story when I travel the world, and the video touched a little bit on that because, you know, I obviously travel a lot, and they know that almost everybody knows that I'm a Texan, and they say, well, where do you live? And I say Texas, and they say, oh. And then I said, but I live in Austin. And they go, oh. We've always wanted to go to Austin. And if they're from the U.S., that's the one, it is this special place in Texas. Not that Dallas or Houston is bad, but it certainly is not Austin, Texas. When I left Plano, where I went to high school and basically grew up in 1989, I wanted to get to a place where I could ride my bike that was more challenging, that was hillier, that wasn't as flat as Plano and North Texas was. And I didn't want to go too far from where my mother was. I'm very close to my mom, so I didn't want to move to California where that would require a flight, or Colorado, which would require a flight. So I thought, well, I'll go to Austin, just down the highway. So I loaded up this U-Haul, and I had some furniture, and I drove down, and I rented this place across from Pease Park, on a little section of Shoal Creek for $300 a month. It was about 700 square feet. And at the time, I remember thinking, oh my God, I am set. Lee, I hear you laughing down there. I know you know that feeling, what it's like to be set. But I would, at the time in 1989, there was the original Whole Foods was just down the street on Lamar. Is now Cheapo CDs. I could go down and see Soul Hat at the Black Cat. You could see bands like the Dave Matthews Band at Liberty Lunch. One time I actually went to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers at City Coliseum, which is no longer there, and I didn't even bother to pay attention to the 2 opening acts. When I got there, I said, who opened the show? And they said, I don't know, two small bands, Smashing Pumpkins and Pearl Jam. It was an amazing time to be in Austin, and the tendency then was to say, okay, let's raise the bridge and not let anybody else in, but we all know we can't do that, and we know that our city has changed and evolved in many, many ways. When I came here in the late 80s and wanted to go out for a bike ride to get away from traffic, which is always the point, it took about 10 or 15 minutes. Now it takes about an hour and 10 or 15 minutes to get out of traffic. But I think the city has not only grown, I think it has improved. It's an amazing place to raise children, which I think if somebody said to me, what's the best thing about Austin? I have 5 kids that will grow up in this city. I'd say I wouldn't want to raise my kids anywhere else besides Austin, Texas. Sure, the bike riding is great. Sure, it's very fit. Sure, the people are friendly. There's great music. There's great food. But it's the best place in America to raise a child. And I think we should all be very, very proud of that. As Austinites and as parents. But I think the most profound day that I ever had in Austin was 15, 16 years ago when I was driving down the street to drive to Dr. Bill Reeves' office to be diagnosed with testicular cancer, October 2nd of 1996. That was the day that really changed everything for me as a person, as an athlete. It changed my relationship with this city. That was when, obviously, my life shifted. but it was the birth of the foundation. It was the birth of a movement of people, not just in Austin, not just in Texas, not just in the U.S., but all over the world. People that understand this disease is absolutely an epidemic. And to have an organization really be started around that time, that we never dreamed we would ever be in this position. I mean, I remember starting the foundation in '97 and thinking, God, if we have a bike ride, and there were images in the video of some of these early rides, if we raised $1,000, we can give that to somebody or do something. And I remember at the time thinking, well, maybe we can get the textbooks in the state of Texas to actually show breast self-exam and testicular self-exam, things that are so important for young kids to learn at an early age. If we could just do that, we've done everything we were supposed to do, and we can move on. But we've gone on to do so much more. I mean, with the 80 people that are based right here in this city in East Austin, it's been an amazing journey. And to date, I mean, to think if we had $1,000 in 1996 and I thought we'd cure this disease, I never thought I'd be standing here talking about cancer today. I thought, naively so, I thought that the disease would be gone by now. But to think that we've raised $395 million since that day. And I got to tell you, and as Doug said in the video, it wouldn't be possible. I don't think if we were in Minneapolis or if we were in San Francisco or if we were in Florida, I just don't think it would have been possible without the help and the love and the support and the passion of the people of Austin for a lot of reasons. But I look at that number, and that's a staggering number. And I got to thank all of you. Thank you for being our friends. Thank you for being our partners. Thank you for the support. We have been blessed, but we have a lot of work to do. That's the amazing thing when I look at it. I'm not naive anymore. I now know that next year we will be talking about this. In a decade we will be talking about this. But we have to keep going. Finally, I get on that note, I get asked all the time, how is it with the foundation? And I could use that number. I could say, hey, it's great. I just heard today that we've raised $395 million, and everybody clapped. That's great. I think that's great. You all think that's great. But in reality, the answer to that question is it's not great. The only day that I can stand here and answer that question honestly, that things are going great, is the day you don't need us. Is the day that our facility in East Austin is another division or another branch of the Mellow Johnny's Bike Shop, or it's an art gallery, or it's a restaurant, or it's a gym. Hell, maybe the Chamber of Commerce needs a new headquarters. That's the day when you say to me, how's it going? I say, you know what, it's great. We have solved the problem. You don't need us anymore. We're moving on to something else. So I look forward to that day. And I think all of us, because I know that everybody in this room has been touched by the disease, I know we look forward to that day when we can look around and go, God, remember that used to have that disease called cancer? God, I'm glad we figured that out. I look forward to the day to answer somebody right in the face and say, it's great. So, again, thank you all for your support. Thank you for your continued passion. Thank you for honoring me today, although I feel like I'm really accepting this on behalf of cancer survivors in this city and the entire team at Livestrong and everybody involved. Thank you from all of us, and have a great 2011. Take care.